Hey guys, it's Ern from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's stories in the world of professional wrestling.
Backstage news on Thunder Rosa being sent home, rumours of her unhappiness in AEW. The rumours of Thunder Rosa's unhappiness in AEW ought to be taken with a grain of salt. On Thursday, What Culture reported that the AEW Women's World Champion had, quote, become frustrated with how little she's been on screen, end quote, including this past Wednesday on Dynamite, where there was no mention of her title defense against Serena Deeb at Sunday's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. In an update from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Rosa was actually booked for a segment on Dynamite but left the Kia Forum in Los Angeles due to an illness. Several of her friends with her were also reportedly ill and left along with her. The Observer echoed PW Insider's report from Thursday, which noted that Rosa was sent home due to an illness. Rosa reportedly attended the taping in LA but wasn't feeling well and therefore was sent home to convalesce by the AEW medical staff. The report also confirmed that Rosa didn't suffer an injury during her match with Deeb at Double or Nothing. While Rosa didn't confirm the report, she did announce her decision to take a few days off social media. Quote, I will be off my socials for a couple of days. Please contact my media director for any inquiries at Alan Orkso, but I will be on Busted Open Radio tomorrow. For what it's worth, What Culture's earlier report also stated that Rosa was frustrated at not being invited to the post-Double or Nothing media scrum, where she wanted to advertise the auctioning of her ring gear to benefit the families from the Uvalde, Texas school shooting. Her gear at Sunday's pay-per-view honored the 21 victims who lost their lives in the shooting. If there's any truth at all to the rumours, one can expect Rosa to speak her piece on Friday's episode of Busted Open Radio. Going forward, Rosa will co-host an hour of the wrestling podcast every Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Since defeating Britt Baker for the AEW Women's World title in March, Rosa has had two successful title defences against Nyla Rose at Battle of the Belts 2 and Deeb at Double or Nothing. MJF removed from AEW roster pages. Whether it's a work or shoot, AEW seems to be fully trying to erase the existence of MJF at the moment. The latest move in the MJF vs AEW saga has the promotion completely removing him from their AllEliteWrestling.com roster page, as well as the AEWShop.com store. If you do happen to attempt to go to his shop site, you receive a 404 error code. In addition to that, MJF was not included in any YouTube videos that AEW released last night, nor was he in any of the publicity photos sent out from AEW Dynamite. MJF came out for the second segment of the show and delivered a polarizing promo where he lambasted AEW and disparaged AEW president Tony Khan, alleging that Khan has a preference for signing former WWE names to big contracts. MJF, microphone in hand, defended himself by mentioning he had to work his way from the ground up in the company at a time he felt AEW was all about the EVPs taking care of their friends. Now, MJF has to financially compete against the release competition when it comes to securing contract dollars. Of course, he noted that he's statistically the second biggest ratings draw in the entire company. He went on to demand his release before an expletive-laced tirade got his microphone cut, following by a blackout to commercial and plenty of buzz on the internet. Off-air, during that commercial break, CM Punk came out in an attempt to confront MJF before the besmirched star took an exit via the crowd. When MJF was ripping into AEW president Tony Khan with a live microphone Wednesday, his colleagues backstage were more convinced than ever that his pipe bomb is part of an elaborate storyline, according to Fightful Select. The report noted that the promo was designed to gain a polarizing reaction, and it did exactly that. Among the countless AEW talent that Fightful spoke to, the reactions to the promo ranged from, quote, it's always been a work on MJF's side, end quote, to, quote, well, it's definitely a work now, end quote. One particular talent stated that if they found out the situation had been a work for any further than this weekend, they'd be, quote, particularly frustrated for many reasons. The talent in question had reportedly spoken to both MJF and Khan in confidence to learn more about the perceived issues, which by all accounts were legitimate. The report added that Khan had indicated to several talents over the years that working the talent isn't something the locker room should expect in AEW. Furthermore, there were talents at MJF's scheduled meet and greet in Las Vegas who ended up having to stay and do additional work in order to make up for the Salt of the Earth no-showing the event. These specific talents who filled in weren't clued in on a potential work and were justifiably ticked off. Another talent indicated to Fightful that they generally try and steer clear of any kind of story involving MJF from interviews or social media because it's, quote, rather difficult to decipher MJF's motivations, end quote. This specific talent would rather just talk to MJF backstage. However, the idea that MJF is always working was repeatedly debunked by several AEW talents. One particular talent was quoted as saying, quote, if he acted like MJF all the time, he probably wouldn't still be working here, end quote, but did indicate they've noticed him being more frustrated this spring than in the past. Meanwhile, a longtime friend of MJF claimed that MJF was adamant to them backstage that the situation wasn't a work. However, that talent also noted that the pipe bomb, quote, reeked of desperation on screen to make something happen, end quote, and they don't believe Khan would have allowed the promo to air live on television without a payoff or a plan. There were another half a dozen AEW wrestlers who felt MJF, quote, seemed frustrated, end quote, when they broached the subject with him. But as of several weeks before Double or Nothing, none of them knew the source of MJF's frustrations. Among the talents that Fightful spoke to, there were several who also sympathized with MJF's initial point of frustration regarding the contract scale for original talent compared to the incoming ex-WWE talents. For what it's worth, none of the talents could or would verify that Khan had been or is in on the work, even though most of them do believe that MJF and Khan found a way to turn their issues into an on-screen storyline during their reported meeting on Monday. Big update on when Ring of Honor's next show could be. Tony Khan's Ring of Honor hasn't been seen since Supercard of Honor in April. In the interim, Khan has continued to search for potential avenues to get Ring of Honor back to weekly television. Now, a new report suggests that while Ring of Honor TV may be still a ways away, another Ring of Honor show seems to be on the horizon. According to Fightful Select, AEW talent has been told that Khan is looking to run a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, Death Before Dishonor, on the weekend of July 23. The event would take place in Lowell, Massachusetts, where several Ring of Honor shows have taken place in the past, including Ring of Honor Best in the World in 2017, where Cody Rhodes defeated Christopher Daniels for the Ring of Honor World Championship. This would line up with AEW's schedule, as AEW Dynamite is scheduled to take place in Worcester, Massachusetts on July 27. Despite the return to pay-per-view, Fightful also noted there was no update on Ring of Honor's return to TV. They also speculated that Ring of Honor running July 23 weekend is potentially connected to New Japan moving an event from July 24 a week earlier on July 17. The show under New Japan's Strong banner is scheduled to take place in Charlotte, North Carolina. No potential matches for Death Before Dishonor were mentioned in Fightful's report. It would be expected that current Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham, Ring of Honor TV Champion Samoa Joe, Ring of Honor Pure Champion Wheeler Yuta, Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions FTR, and Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Mercedes Martinez would be involved in the show.
So what are your thoughts on today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.